Gospel of today, Thursday, January 8, 2026. Luke 4 verses 14 to 22. At that time, Jesus returned to Galilee in the power of the Spirit, and news about him spread throughout the whole region. He taught in their synagogues and was praised by all. He came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and went into the synagogue, as was his custom, on the Sabbath day. He stood up to read, and the scroll of the prophet Isaiah was handed to him. He unrolled the scroll and found the passage where it was written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me. He has sent me to bring good news to the poor, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and recovery of sight to the blind, to set the oppressed free, and to proclaim a year acceptable to the Lord." Then he rolled up the scroll, gave it back to the attendant, and sat down. The eyes of all in the synagogue were fixed on him. And he began to say to them, "Today this scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing." And all spoke well of him and were amazed at the gracious words that came from his mouth.
And it is written, "Love thy neighbor as thyself," for in this commandment lies the path to peace and understanding.
The Maya, echoes of time. Deep within the Mesoamerican jungle, where morning mist rises and the calls of unseen birds break the silence, lies the legacy of a civilization that defied time, the Maya. They were not merely builders of stone. They were architects of the cosmos. Their cities were raised in harmony with the heavens. Pyramids aligned with the movements of the sun, the moon, and Venus. Every stairway, every temple, every shadow cast across stone carried both scientific precision and sacred meaning. While much of the ancient world struggled to measure time, the Maya mastered it. They predicted eclipses, charted planetary cycles, and understood time not as an end, but as an eternal transformation. Yet their knowledge did not dwell only in the sky. It lived in the earth, in maze, in ritual, and in the profound bond between humanity and the divine. For the Maya, science and spirituality were inseparable, woven together into a single ancestral wisdom. Then came the silence. Cities were abandoned. The jungle reclaimed the temples. Stone was swallowed by roots and shadow. To the modern world, the Maya seemed to vanish, but they did not disappear. Their knowledge slept beneath the canopy, carved into stone and written in the stars, waiting to be rediscovered. Today, as we walk among their ruins, we do not merely observe the past, we hear an echo, a message that still resonates across centuries. We are not separate from the universe. We are part of its rhythm. This is the story of a mysterious, advanced, and deeply enigmatic civilization. A story written in stone, sky, and time. It began within hours. In Caracas, the dead rose and the city collapsed. Streets flooded with zombies, buildings burned, and screams were swallowed by smoke. No local force could stop the spread. From the sky, cutting-edge military helicopters tore through the clouds. Elite U.S. forces deployed into the city, turning avenues and plazas into war zones. Gunfire echoed endlessly, yet the zombies kept advancing. As night consumed the capital, one truth became undeniable. Caracas could no longer be saved, only contained. When the helicopters pulled back, a final message remained clear. Caracas was not the end. It was the beginning. The serpent of knowledge. Before Eden, before humanity, there was an experiment beneath what would later be called paradise. Hidden behind living walls of light and code, the Anunnaki built a high-security biological laboratory. They did not pray. They did not worship. They engineered. Inside a glowing incubation chamber, Subject Adapa took his first breath. His DNA was not purely human. It carried fragments of something ancient and foreign, celestial code woven into flesh. He was the first successful hybrid, designed for strength, obedience, and labor. But something went wrong. Or perhaps something went right. Among the creators, division grew. Some demanded control and submission. Others feared what they had awakened. And then Enki arrived. He moved silently through the lab, serpent-like symbols flowing around him, his eyes filled with knowledge rather than judgment. Later generations would call him the serpent. Not a demon, but a scientist. A rebel. They made you to serve, Enki whispered as he altered Adapa's genetic sequence. I will give you the power to understand. When knowledge was released, alarms shattered the stillness. The overseers descended in fury. Eden was sealed. Memories were fractured. Fear was implanted deep into the human mind as a control mechanism. They would later call it original sin. But it was never a sin. It was a forbidden upgrade. Humanity was cast into the world, confused, vulnerable, yet carrying an unerasable spark, consciousness. A memory buried deep in DNA, echoing through myths, dreams, and sacred texts. And the serpent disappeared, or so we were told. Because Project Adapa was never terminated. It was hidden, rewritten, disguised as scripture. And now, it is awakening again. In the next chapter, we will continue uncovering the forbidden archives of Project Adapa, revealing who the Watchers truly were, why the Giants were born, and what role humanity still plays in an experiment that never ended. The question is no longer who created us, but why they are still watching. Evangelio de hoy, jueves 8 de enero de 2026. Lucas 4, 14 a 22. En aquel tiempo, Jesús volvió a Galilea con la fuerza del Espíritu, y su fama se extendió por toda la región. Enseñaba en las sinagogas y todos lo alababan. Fue a Nazaret, donde se había criado, y entró en la sinagoga, como era su costumbre, el día sábado. Se levantó para hacer la lectura y le entregaron el libro del profeta Isaías. Lo desenrolló y encontró el pasaje donde estaba escrito: El Espíritu del Señor está sobre mí, porque me ha ungido. Me ha enviado para anunciar la buena noticia a los pobres, para proclamar la liberación a los cautivos, y la vista a los ciegos, para poner en libertad a los oprimidos, y proclamar un año de gracia del Señor. Luego enrolló el libro, lo devolvió al ayudante y se sentó. Todos los que estaban en la sinagoga tenían los ojos fijos en él. Entonces comenzó a decirles: Hoy se cumple esta escritura que acaban de oír. Y todos daban testimonio a su favor y estaban admirados de las palabras llenas de gracia que salían de su boca. Reflexión breve. Jesús proclama que la salvación no es una promesa futura, sino una realidad que comienza hoy. Su misión es llevar esperanza, libertad y sanación a quienes más lo necesitan. 12 legions unseen. The night was heavy in Gethsemane. Torches cut through the darkness as soldiers advanced, armor clanking, hands tight around swords. Betrayal stood at the front, a kiss still warm in the air. Fear moved among the disciples like a storm about to break. One blade flashed. Steel rang as Peter struck, and blood fell to the ground. The moment shattered the silence, and in that instant, the world held its breath. Jesus did not run. He raised his hand, and the violence stopped. His eyes lifted not in fear, but in certainty. toward a sky that looked silent, yet was anything but. For beyond the veil of night stood armies unseen. Legions upon legions of angels waited, wings folded, weapons of fire restrained by a single command. At one word, the earth would split. At one breath, the soldiers would fall like dust. Heaven itself was poised to descend. And he knew it. "Do you think I cannot call on my Father?" he said calmly. "And he will at once put at my disposal more than 12 legions of angels?" The soldiers laughed, unaware how close they stood to annihilation. But no command came. The angels did not move. Power chose restraint. Authority chose surrender. Love chose the cross. Jesus lowered his hand and stepped forward, allowing himself to be bound, not because he was weak, but because he was obedient. Not because heaven was silent, but because heaven was waiting. The angels watched as their king was led away. And the universe learned a truth greater than force. The greatest power is not the ability to destroy, but the strength to save at any cost. The Garden of Eden was never a paradise. It was a sealed place where heaven first touched the earth. There began the experiment, when the beings later called the sons of God altered human flesh and awakened a mind meant to obey, not to understand. But one among them opened what should have remained sealed, and humanity awakened. That was the true sin, knowledge. Cast out from Eden, humankind multiplied and split into two paths. The lineage of Cain built cities of stone and towers of pride. The lineage of Seth remembered the voice above, and in the days of Enosh, men began to call upon the name of the Lord, and their cry once again reached the heavens. Then came the second transgression. The sons of God looked upon the daughters of men and descended. From that forbidden union the Nephilim were born, giants of immense strength and unrestrained will. They ruled by violence, feasted in arrogance, and filled the earth with corruption. The experiment had spiraled beyond control. Yet amid the noise and the pride, one man walked differently. Noah found favor. While giants laughed and crowds mocked, he listened and obeyed. He built the ark under open skies, wood rising day by day, a warning no one believed. Then the door was shut. The sky broke open. The fountains of the deep burst forth. Towers fell, giants were swallowed, and the world that had crossed forbidden boundaries was erased by water. The flood was not only destruction, it was containment. When the waters withdrew, the earth stood silent. The giants were gone. The heavens were distant once more. But the experiment continued, this time with a warning written into the memory of the world. Whenever heaven and earth unite in pride, creation itself rises to restore the boundary. And that ancient story, though buried beneath water and time, has not yet reached its end. The Battle of the Archangel Gabriel. In Babylon, the prophet Daniel prayed with a troubled heart. He fasted, seeking answers for his people, and for days the heavens seemed silent. But the silence was not absence. It was war. From the moment Daniel began to pray, God answered and sent the Archangel Gabriel with a divine message. Gabriel descended through the heavens, carrying revelation and truth, but he was stopped. In the unseen realm, the prince of Persia rose against him, a powerful ruler of darkness. Their clash shook the heavens, light against shadow, obedience against rebellion. For 21 days, the battle raged, mirroring Daniel's fasting on earth. When the resistance could not be broken, heaven intervened. The archangel Michael, commander of God's armies, descended with unstoppable authority. With a single strike, he shattered the hold of the Prince of Persia and opened the way. Freed, Gabriel continued his mission and appeared before Daniel, radiant and strong. From the first day you set your heart to understand and humbled yourself, your prayer was heard. Yet the war was not finished. As Gabriel prepared to return, he warned that another power waited in the shadows, the Prince of Greece, a coming darkness tied to future kingdoms. The message had been delivered. The prayer had been answered. The battle continued. For every time the faithful pray, heaven moves, angels fight, and though unseen by human eyes, no prayer is ever ignored. Under the broom tree, the desert showed no mercy. The sun burned high above, and the silence pressed heavily on the land. The prophet Elijah, exhausted from the long journey and the weight of his calling, finally collapsed beneath a solitary broom tree. His strength was gone. His spirit felt empty. "Enough, Lord," he whispered. "Take my life." There, between sand and shadow, Elijah fell into a deep sleep, overwhelmed by weariness and despair. Then a gentle touch awakened him. An angel of the Lord stood beside him, not with judgment, but with compassion. The angel spoke softly, "Get up and eat." Beside Elijah lay freshly baked bread and a jar of water. He drank and lay down again. A second time, the angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." Strength returned not only to Elijah's body, but to his soul. He rose and began to walk. For 40 days and 40 nights, he traveled through wilderness and silence, until he reached Mount Horeb, the mountain of God. There, Elijah understood that he had never been alone. And so it is with us. There are moments when the road feels endless, when our strength fails and our hearts grow weary. But the Lord does not abandon us beneath the broom tree. He comes near, gives us what we need, and walks with us, until we are strong enough to continue. You are not alone. You never have been.
The forest knows you are here. I didn't come to hurt anyone. That is what they all say. You must be cautious. I sense great power in this meat.
You walk on living ground.
We are not separate from this world.
Weapons hot, eyes open. This planet is watching us.
Sir, the ground is glowing.
You walk on living ground, metal beings.
We're not here to fight. Captain, they're everywhere. Your fear shines louder than your weapons. This planet reacts like a nervous system.
Then we're cutting deep. The sky invaders do not listen. Then the world must answer.
I was trained to destroy, not to feel this. Now you hear the planet breathe.
Command orders full strike.
There are villages out there! Defend the heart! They're everywhere!
You have killed a memory older than your stars.
Call it off. We finished the mission. I choose life.
The Cyclops is the giant with a single eye. a colossal creature born from ancient myth, brute force, and isolation. Legends describe it as an enormous being with one gigantic eye in the center of its forehead, an eye that watches without mercy and never sleeps. Its body appears to be made of living stone, muscles hardened by endless labor and survival. The Cyclops lives apart from the world of men, dwelling in caves and desolate lands. It does not farm. It does not build cities. It hunts. It survives. It endures. Feared by humans and gods alike, the Cyclops represents power without law, strength without civilization. Yet it is not a mindless beast. It knows fire. It forges. Remembers. In ancient times, the Cyclops was both monster and craftsman, creator of legendary weapons, master of iron and thunder. Its single eye symbolizes brutal focus, seeing only what stands before it, prey, threat, or challenge. The Cyclops is not evil by nature. It is ancient, it is alone, and it is unstoppable.
Saving your friend in a zombie apocalypse during a journey through the pyramids of Egypt. The scorching sun hangs over the pyramids of Giza as your journey turns into a nightmare. What was once